What did you see on this drive from the offensive line?
Well, yeah, I mean, I thought the cohesion on the offensive line was in question without a McGlinchey and Nelson. Alex Bars looks quicker than I've ever seen him. I thought Liam Eichenberg really represented himself very, very well. And Sam Mustapher in the middle. That's huge against a defensive line like Michigan, which had 114 tackles for loss last year. I thought the offensive line did a great job. You know, you're not gonna pile up 500 yards against Michigan's offense or defensive line, but Notre Dame did a fine job up front.
They followed that up with an even more impressive second drive, 96 yards, capped off by a sensational catch by Chris Fank, maybe I should say Chris Moss. Take a look at this here. Brandon Wimbush going deep to Fink, and the Irish take the 14-0 lead early.
Michigan's safeties were suspect coming in, there's no doubt. And Chris Fink has gotten much stronger in his second year through the Matt Bayless program. I think there was going to be a lot of attention on Claypool and Boykin tonight. We thought maybe, Fink could kind of go under the radar. He made a tremendous play reaching over one of their safeties.
Michigan was going to try to answer. They were looking at a 3rd and goal from the 10, and Alohi Gilman, oh my goodness, a safety for Notre Dame made a play.
Alohi Gilman, he was a difference maker from the first series. Notre Dame safeties finished 7th and 8th in tackles on the team last year. That's just poor for the safeties. He didn't get a pick, but he made a whole bunch of plays. He broke up a couple. I thought he was aggressive tackling. I think we first saw that in the blue gold game where we saw he could fill the lane and make a play. He's significant. I thought Jalen Elliott played much better tonight as well.
Notre Dame would add another touchdown from Jafar Armstrong to extend their lead 21-3. But then on the ensuing kickoff, Ambry Thomas goes 99 yards to the house, and that cuts into the Irish lead as Michigan makes it 21-10 with 3:41 left in the half. Tim, what happened here?
Well, the big negative of the night, there were 2 tackle opportunities, one for Claypool and one for Fertitta. They didn't have good angles. Michigan blocked it perfectly right from the outset. Special teams really hurt Notre Dame tonight. I mean, the first score by Michigan was set up by a bad punt by Tyler Newsome as well. So that's an area they still need a lot of work on.
Midway through the 3rd quarter, and I thought Brandon Wimbush did a lot of good things with his arm tonight, but here he escapes the sack, buys time, and then looks upfield and finds Chase Claypool, and that's different than the Wimbush we saw last year.
No doubt about it. Look, Brandon Wimbush is never going to be a 60% passer. We all know that, but with his feet, he doesn't have to be. He can do damage against most teams in the country. I thought he was outstanding tonight. I mean, he started out 10 for 15 in the first half, a great start, slacked off a little in the second half, but did some great things with his feet.
Now, Michigan made it 24-17, but on their last drive with under 2 minutes remaining, Shea Patterson coughs up the ball. Tavon Coney is there to cover it up. The Irish recover the fumble, and they get the win. How about the pass rush by the Notre Dame defense?
Khalid Kareem and Jerry Tillery, I thought in particular. I don't want to take anything away from Notre Dame's defensive front, but Michigan's offensive line was a huge problem last year, and it continues to be. I think Shea Patterson's a pretty darn good quarterback, but if he doesn't get better help up front, it's going to be a long year again for Michigan.
Well, and he got battered in this game. The Irish defense was asked before the game, how do you rattle Shea Patterson? They said you hit him, and they did.
They did. I thought Clark Lee did really an outstanding job for his first time as a defensive coordinator. The Julian Okwara interception, that was an exchange up front. They brought Coney and dropped Okwara. Okwara is normally known for his pass rush. He was in perfect position for the interception.
Going into this game, everyone was talking about the Michigan defense, how good they were, their 2 bookend defensive ends, and certainly their defense played a good game. But Notre Dame's was flat out better tonight. I feel like this defense is a very underrated group.
Yeah. First of all, Chase Winovich is one heck of a defensive end. He took advantage of Robert Hainsey, who's been banged up. But defensively for Notre Dame, we thought it could be good. And they were going to be stronger tests than this one tonight. But, really from the outset, they set a tone. The offense did as well with the 2 quick scores. But a lot to be excited about defensively. The depth showed. They were banged up on the defensive line a little bit. The depth showed. A couple young guys got in. But, really other than the special teams, offensively and defensively, Notre Dame was pretty darn good tonight.
Tim Priester from Irish Illustrated. A reminder, you can subscribe to Irish Illustrated. It's the #1 source for Notre Dame sports online. Just head to irishillustrated.com and click on Join to find the best plan for you.
Well, the start of a new season brings back so many families, traditions, and attending games together.
Megan Smedley was in the stands throughout the game, but now she's sitting with us and joins us with the fans' excitement.
Yeah, guys, the season opener under the lights against Michigan. What could you ask for? Many fans telling me that this game was the perfect to more than exciting to pick up some recent even
Hold up just a second. We're having a little problem hearing you, so why don't you use that?
Well, body paint would do. Outside of the student section, season ticket holders reuniting with their fall families, sharing the stands with friends, catching up on all of their summers. Now, fans I spoke with were still on a high from today's festivities, even throwing some bold predictions out there.
Of course, it's always good to be back here, but it's good when they're beating anyone here. But just because it is Michigan, it's even that much better. If they don't win the national title, I'm not happy.
So, that one fan throwing out a bold prediction there, saying national title or bust. Alex and Chuck, what do you guys think?
Hey, I mean, here at Notre Dame, there are national championship expectations every year. Obviously, those are a little unrealistic to expect that of Notre Dame, especially the schedule they play this year. But I'll tell you what, after the game they played tonight, knocking off Michigan in a top 15 showdown, maybe they've got what it takes.
It's a demanding schedule, and it's September 1st. Let's all tamp this down a little bit. Well, I'll tell you what. Thanks, Megan, for your report. The excitement started bright and early with College Game Day today on the Notre Dame campus. The program returned to the spot that it started its road show at nearly 25 years ago.
A few special guests showed up, like Coach Kelly, Muffet McGraw, and even country music star Luke Bryan. But the best part for Irish fans might have been when Coach Lee Corso revealed Notre Dame as his pick. Let's send it over to Courtney and Travis in the WNDU studios. Courtney, I understand you're still tracking some storms here.
Yeah. Right now, there's a Notre Dame press conference going on with Brendan Wimbush. Let's take a listen.
Brendan back here. Things really started to stall a little bit in the second half. Did Michigan change anything up in particular that slowed it down?
No, I didn't think we had enough energy coming out of halftime, and somebody needed to change that. And I think the offensive line did a great job of putting their heads down and driving the guys off the ball to promote that energy that we needed in the second half. And I think we ran the ball a little bit more in the second half. So
there was one drive where it did change, the drive that ended in the Union field goal. You got sacked for a 10-yard loss and immediately ripped off a 22-yard run, evaded a sack and found Claypool for 19 a couple of plays later. Did that Winovich or Bush sack kind of lock you into focus that you had to get back going down the field?
No, I just felt like we were backed up a little bit too often today. So I mean that was on my mind. But every time you get in the third and long situation, you got to be smart and obviously you want to make a great play. And I think the offensive line, it was a quarterback draw, did a great job of opening it up. C and I went in and got the first down.
Talk a little bit about the offensive line today. After they lost, who they lost.
Yeah. Hopefully we can move on from those two guys after this one, because those guys did a great job up front, and you're able to see that. I think the defensive line for Michigan has been highly touted and highly regarded this entire offseason. I think our offensive line did an excellent job of holding their own and giving me time back there to do what I need to do to get things done. So big shout out to those guys.
Brandon and
if it was an issue or a factor throughout the game, but it looked like a factor early that you have receivers who are just so big. You also have one not big at all.
You can go jump. Yeah.
Can you just sort of look ahead to what that will do for you, that weapon of having this great?
Yeah, I mean, like you can probably imagine it's a matchup nightmare for a lot of the DBs, right? These guys were 5'9", 5'10", 170 pounds, and then I have 3-4 guys that are going out there at 6'5", 220 and up. So just right off the bat, you're like, all right, how are we gonna attack these guys and use our size to our advantage? And I think we did a good job of that today, and I think we can continue to use that as a great weapon for us.
Brandon in the back. Alex Wilcox and Chuck Freeby back here on the sidelines of Notre Dame Stadium after Notre Dame's big 24-17 win over Michigan. Obviously, the Irish win is the big story, but not the only story today.
No, there was other college football today in the state of Indiana, and that includes the Indiana Hoosiers. They went down to Miami, bienvenido a Miami, and took on the Florida International Golden Panthers. Hoosiers look to go for it on fourth down. Peyton Ramsey, the quarterback, found Donovan Hale for the 2-yard score. IU up 28-14 at the half. In the third, the Hoosiers turn to the freshman quarterback, Michael Penix Jr. He finds Mike Majette, and the Hoosiers roll on to victory 38-28. IU now 3-0 all-time against FIU.
And big NFL news today, the Chicago Bears traded for Oakland Raiders star pass rusher Khalil Mack. They have an agreement in place to acquire the pass rusher from the Raiders. Chicago will send 2 first-round picks to the Raiders in the deal, as well as 3rd and 6th-round picks. Now the Bears also signed Mack to a contract extension, 6 years, $141 million. With $90 million guaranteed. It's the richest defensive contract in NFL history. The NFL's Defensive Player of the Year in 2016 held out all offseason and preseason with the Raiders while seeking that new deal that he just got with the Bears.
Hey, kids, there's a pennant race going on. Cubs trying to bounce back against the Phillies tonight. Top of the first, Javi Baez chops one towards short. The throw bounces away from Philly first baseman Carlos Santana. That's the 99th RBI of the year for Baez. Cubs take the lead then in the third. We had IU football highlights. How about an IU baseball player? Kyle Schwarber crushes this one deep left center. Just short of the 3-run homer, but how about a 3-bagger for Schwarbs? The slugger with a 2-run triple. Cubs would go on to win this one 7-1. They now lead Milwaukee by 4 in the NL Central.
It's the Sox against the Sox in Boston tonight. In the 5th, Red Sox third baseman Eduardo Nunez lifts this one to deep left, and it hits off the wall for a double. However, it would get reviewed, and Nunez was awarded the home run. Later on, Jackie Bradley Jr. hits one, and this one does not need to be reviewed. That's a no-doubter as the Red Sox win this one 6-1.
And there's good news for everybody. We've wrapped up sports, but we have lottery numbers, and those are next.